Thank you.
Microphone. I want to call you to order for this very special meeting of the Waterford City and County Council. It's the same format as a standard council meeting, so I'm going to, as a first movement in the evening, going to ask Honor to say the prayer and a few moments of silent reflection.
Thanks, Mayor. And I'm an active Vic in spirit, Nave, amen. For the Bannock there and Gunnar Shaw, Extroig Shin, or Good Ebra, her son, the Fubble, Three Kier, Star Dana, amen. And I'm an active Vic spirit, Nave, amen.
Fellow councillors, members of the Oireachtas, ladies and gentlemen, guests of honour, Gilbert and the O'Sullivan family, both immediate and extended. Since it was first granted in the year 1195, the freedom of Waterford has represented a distinguished honour, graciously extended to individuals both from within and without Waterford. This honour is not only permitted the bearer to conduct his trade freely within the city bounds, but it also established the tradition whereby the city's council members were chosen from amongst those free men. The 300-year-old tradition that we have of presenting the Freedom Scroll in an engraved, handmade silver box has now been revived by Waterford City and County Council. The Freedom Scrolls and miniature certificates too are in the medieval tradition, made of calfskin vellum, the same material that was used to make the Book of Kells and our own great parchment book. Drawing upon this cherished history, then, it is with great honour and pride that I, as Mayor of Waterford City and County Council, extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Gilbert O'Sullivan, a signal composer and performer from Waterford roots, who has made an indelible mark on the world of modern music. Today, within the walls of this, our historic City Hall, we gather to bestow upon him the freedom of Waterford, a testament to his contributions and the esteem in which he is held both here and worldwide. It is also my pleasure to welcome his family and friends, and all those who come together to share in this great occasion. Together, we celebrate not only the conferring of this accolade, but also celebrate the impact Gilbert has made on our community and beyond. This man, born on the 1st of December 1946 out on the Cork Road, here in the city, Gilbert's early life was marked by a spirit of resilience and creativity. Like myself, he is one of 6 children, and again, like myself and many in the 50s and 60s, his family soon relocated to England for new opportunities, initially in the southwest of London in Battersea, just up the road from my own clan in Wandsworth, before settling in Wiltshire in the shadow of the Cotswolds. It was there that Gilbert's musical journey began, playing the piano and honing his craft, not through formal lessons, but playing by ear, a testament to his outstanding and growing natural talent. His first single success, Nothing Rhymed, was released in 1970, quickly achieving top 10 status in the United Kingdom and European charts. His 1971 debut album, Himself, was littered with perfect examples of his songwriting craftsmanship. His second, 1972's Back to Front, firmly cemented him amongst music's best, with top 10 singles and number ones around the world, including the classic Alone Again, Naturally, which topped the United States charts for 6 weeks and earned him 3 Grammy nominations. Of course, worldwide recognition soon followed, with the songs Claire and Get Down reaching the summit of the UK charts, and his LP Back to Front topping the album charts. In the same year, at the 18th Ivor Novello Awards, Gilbert was named Songwriter of the Year. Personally, as a fan of all his work for half a century now, I regularly enjoy his Berry Vest compilation as I drive the miles here and there. My personal favourite being the very sparse and captivating Miss My Love Today. But I also have a naughty chuckle every time I listen to Permissive Twit. I could go on detailing the milestones and accolades that Gilbert O'Sullivan has achieved through a career spanning over 50 years. However, the essence of this man is captured not just in the length of his career, but in the depth of his impact on music, the arts, and the hearts of those who've had the privilege to witness his journey. With that in mind, it is now my great pleasure to hand over to my colleague from Tramore, Councillor Lola O'Sullivan, to formally propose the motion that the freedom of Waterford be conferred on Gilbert O'Sullivan. Councillor O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Mayor Conway. I would like to echo the Mayor's comments and welcome you all today to the awarding of the Freedom of the City to Gilbert O'Sullivan. It is a singular honour for me to propose the motion to admit Gilbert O'Sullivan to the Freedom of Waterford in recognition of his enormous service to the music industry over the past 50 years. Waterford-born Gilbert has carved out a remarkable career with his unique melody, wit and surreal humour, earning global success and critical acclaim. He is now hailed one of the great singer-songwriters, acclaimed by a diverse range of artists, including Paul Weller, Nina Simone and Gary Barlow. Recently, Tim Burgess featured Gilbert's album on The Listening Party and joined him for a duet on stage, solidifying his place in music lore. Music aside, Gilbert is a proud father and grandfather. Although he may no longer live here, he will always be one of Waterford's greats. I thank you all once again for joining us. And Gilbert, once again, I commend you on an amazing career, and it is my greatest pleasure to see you awarded the Freedom of the City today. I now pass you over to the seconder, Councillor Joe Kelly.
Gur Magad a Vera agus Corlor O'Sullivan. I too would like to welcome you all to City Hall and I reiterate what was said previously in regards to Gilbert's illustrious career. From the Cork Road to the Royal Albert Hall, Glastonbury and everywhere in between, Gilbert is world-renowned, an eye-catching visual image consisting of a bowl-cut cloth cap and short trousers inspired by his love of silent films, made him stand out and scored him his first contract after catching the eye of a professional manager. Gilbert, he burst onto the music scene with the witty and original hit Nothing Rhymed, marking the start of a successful career under MAM Records, guided by mentor Gordon Mills. The string of hits continued with chart-topping singles like Claire and Get Down, and albums such as Back to Front, reaching top positions in the UK charts. Shedding the older image, you embraced a new style symbolised by the iconic G sweaters. Further achievements include 3 Ivor Novello Awards and notable performances at BBC Proms and Glastonbury. Recent albums like 2018 Gilbert O'Sullivan and the 2024 Driven, produced by Ethan Jones and Andy Wright respectively, have reignited interest in your exceptional talent, earning critical acclaim. A 50-year career adorned with awards and performances around the world is exactly why Gilbert is deserving of this honour tonight. Gilbert, I wish you continued and long lustrous career, and it is my pleasure to second this proposal and indeed to be part of today's proceedings. Gurv Míle Maith Go Léir.
Now it is my great privilege to invite the members of Waterford City and County Council to stand and adopt this motion by acclamation. And now I'm going to lift this fairly weighty tome over across to Gilbert, and hoping that I just discovered down in the parlour that he's kilted. So we're going to make sure that I don't bump into his trusty left hand here while he signs the Freedom Book.
So at City Hall, Waterford, by resolution of the Mayor and members of City and County Council, Gilbert O'Sullivan is now admitted to the freedom of the City and County of Waterford, honoris causa, on this, the 27th day of March 2024.
Congratulations. Delighted. And just so that we can keep a little tab on the historical essence of the occasion, I'm going to call on Curator-Manager of Waterford Treasures, Rosemary Ryan, to provide a brief historical reference for the Freedom Box and Scroll. Thank you, Rosemary.
The freedom of Waterford City and County has been a coveted privilege and honour since civic government replaced military governors back in 1195. The freedom allowed the recipient to trade freely within the city, and it was from among the free men that members of the council were chosen. The present council members might be interested to hear that until 1840, membership of the council was for life. In the Middle Ages... Do my best. In the Middle Ages, according to the Great Parchment Book, in order to be admitted to the freedom, one had to provide the council with 2 half barges of stone. The stone was to be used for building a wall around the city. Then in the 18th century, it became the custom to present the freedom in small, circular, handmade silver boxes. The freedom certificate was folded and put into these boxes, and the earliest surviving Waterford Freedom Cert is just over 300 years old, made in 1772. Sorry, that's the earliest surviving Waterford's freedom certificate is just over 300 years old, and the earliest Waterford-made freedom box we have dates to 1772. The certificate is actually 1717, so that's what, even older. The certificate is on display downstairs in the Mayor's exhibition, and some 20 freedom boxes form the centrepiece of our Irish Silver Museum. On visiting Waterford City, distinguished visitors such as the King's representative in Ireland were given the freedom in either a silver or silver gilt box. The idea of conferring notable personages with the honorary freedom began in the 19th century, when many of the leading figures of the Home Rule movement were presented with it: Isaac Butt, Charles Stewart Parnell. It was given to John Redmond in 1902 by Mayor Richard Hearn, father of John Hearn, who was Ireland's first ambassador to the United States of America, as you all know. Honorary freedom is the highest honour that Waterford City and County Council can bestow. For Waterford, it is comparable to Oxford University conferring an honorary degree. The 300-year-old tradition of presenting the freedom in a silver box has now been revived by Waterford City and County Council. The engraved box was handmade by master silversmith Seamus Gill. So, Gilbert, you can't say nothing rhymed. I tried to make all this rhyme an hour ago, but that's the best I could do. But next time I'll do better. The Freedom Scroll and miniature certificate are in the medieval tradition made of vellum, which is calf skin, the same material, as the Mayor said, used in the Book of Kells and our own great parchment book. The calligrapher is Tim O'Neill, a renowned scholar and a national expert on the Irish manuscript tradition. Tim has worked with the likes of Seamus Heaney and has published widely on the art of calligraphy. So, Gurv Mil Mahagurv Galer.
Now, it's my delightful privilege to present to Gilbert the scroll and the freedom box, and I'm going to stand up and give this so that photographers might want to.
I stand up too?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah. And it's like Christmas Eve, isn't it? Look what I've got for you here. Can't over. I leave it to you to open it. Hey, well, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's lovely. Now, can I shake your hand? Yeah. Okay. No. There we go. Brilliant. Now, don't think you were going to get away lightly, Gilbert O'Sullivan, because it's my duty now to ask you to make a brief, or maybe not so brief, response. So I'm going to turn on your mic, and if you want to say hello to the councillors and the people of Waterford, now's your opportunity.
I've been practicing kind of my first ever speech, but I've been doing it standing up. So I wasn't aware that I would be sitting down doing it. But let me just say, first of all, it's a great honour to receive this. And a big thank you to the Mayor.
Pleasure.
Councillors and councillors, and honoured for looking after us. And my first ever speech outside of City Hall. Right, can I leave now? Looking at a list of some of the people who have received the freedom, the only music recipients are the wonderful Val Doonican and Brendan Moyer of the Royal Show Band, both of whom received theirs after their passing. So I'm thinking, hang on, what's going on here? There's something I don't know that could be happening. But I'm proud of my roots, of course. I always say that any interview I've ever given around the world. The fact that I only lived here till I was 8 years old doesn't stop me from, it certainly never stopped me as I got older from coming back. But in those first 8 years, to this day, I didn't know my father too well, but I found it strange that for 15 years he worked at Clover Meats and then gave that up, or had to give it up, to move to England. My mother had a shop. She was very successful as a businesswoman. But anyway, the move took place and we all moved over for a short while in Battersea, and then we moved to Swindon, which is in those early years. And of course, from then until about 1967, I think we only came back a couple of times for family reasons and stuff. And it was only in 1967 when I moved to London to break into the music business and had a job, so I earned some money, that I was able to come back to Waterford. I loved it. My first ever visit, I remember arriving at the station and I felt immediately at home. I walked all the way to my grandmum and granddad's house out in Balnamona. They didn't know I was coming. It was very early in the morning, so I sat on a hill and waited until it was a more respectable time to go knocking on their door. But anyway, they greeted me. My grandma was very pleased to see me. I'm not sure my granddad was. But I stayed with them for a couple of days. Then I moved to Auntie Bid down in the town and stayed with her and Uncle Dennis for a couple of days. I always remember Auntie Bid out in the garden putting her arm around me saying, "What are we going to do with you?" That may have been because my hair was starting to look a little weird. By today's standards, it looks very contemporary. But in those days, and perhaps my dress was beginning to, as an art student, I look a bit odd. But anyway, that was nice. Then I moved for a day with my mum's brother, Bill and Kay, Auntie Kay. And then I moved down to Cork Road for Peter Roach and stuff, a good friend at that time. And Peter, Doty Roach and Tom Roach, their parents, they were next door neighbours to us in the Cork Road. And with Peter, we had a really good time. Peter drove, so he had a car, so we could take trips to various places. And we went to Killarney, I remember. We went to Killarney, had a really good time. So that was nice during that period. And then 1970 hit, and Nothing Rhymed took off, and suddenly everything changed around. I mean, it was absolute chaos. Wonderful, but chaotic and stuff. Records were being released, tours were taking place. I actually didn't tour on the strength of Nothing Rhymed for 2 years, which is very unusual. Normally when you have a hit record, you're on the road immediately. But for 2 years I didn't do that, which was good for me as a songwriter, because for all of you to know this, without the songs there wouldn't be an artist. The songwriting is the key to everything that I do. But anyway, so throughout the 70s, lots of success, and then what happened was the breakup with my manager, Gordon Mills, who managed Tom Jones and Engelbert Humperdinck. He was a fantastic manager for me in those early 70s. But a promise had been made to me in 1970 when he first managed me, which would have meant an interest in my publishing, just a small interest, not a financial thing at that point. So when we parted company, which I thought was amicably done, shaking hands, it turned out that I wasn't going to get that promise. So I was determined to go to court to get it. I thought maybe it would be over in a few days. Went to big-time lawyers. But it turned out to be years before it was resolved. It was very painful for everybody, including my own family, as well as for Gordon's family. But I was determined to get what I was promised, no matter what. It ended up being a multitude of things. Luckily for me, it worked out really well. But as a result of going to court, you must understand that major court cases, you must take the view that you can lose. It's okay thinking you're going to win, even if you have good proof that on your side. So I took the view that if I'd lost the case, I would be financially in a position to pay for it. And to help me do that, the writer's exemption in Ireland, which I think Charles Hall started, for authors like Frederick Forsyth and people like that, to get their tax-free, I was able to take advantage of that. I thought it was quite amusing because when they were viewing me up to see if I was the right person to come into Ireland, even though I was born here, I don't think any musicians had been there yet. Plenty more followed, I think, later on. But they wanted to see the sort of things that made me successful, like gold discs and things like that. So that was really strange. But anyway, I got permission and we moved over there. My wife, my daughter, Helen Marie, and Kevin, my brother, who has worked with me for almost 50 years. We stayed for 4 years, and during that 4 years, our second daughter, Tara, was born in Dublin. So we had a fantastic time. The court case ended favourably for me, so it meant that we could move back. So we moved back to Jersey, which is our home now, and it's been a wonderful place for us to be in terms of schooling for the girls. For me as a writer, there's plenty of solitude. There are no motorways. I don't drive, so I have a really nice time there. I highly recommend it if you ever wanted to visit the island. And so, moving on, how am I doing?
You're doing fabulous.
So,
look at you, you've got the meeting out of your hand.
So by the mid-80s, after all that had happened, moving back to England, I was able to start working out the career moves for touring and stuff. I'd continued to write all through the troubling times, never stopped writing, which was good for me. But anyway, so tours were being put together. And so in 1990, to get it back for the first time in so many years, I decided to do a concert with a difference for touring. And that would be that you'd get to hear the songs sung by me, but it would be with actors reenacting the career of the rise and fall and rise of a singer. Every song has its play, as it was called. We did 5 nights in Dublin, and we did 2 nights in Waterford. So we had a really great time. And my memory of that is the former Mayor Hillary joining me on stage to sing Matrimony.
He still does.
So, but as a result of that, of course, our intention is to come back here. That's going to be planned. And Joe, if we do come back, like Hillary, we might get you on the stage to sing.
You don't want to do that.
The biggest regret I have, of course, is my mother. Mum, a Waterford girl, Mum would have loved this. Whatever gold discs I achieved, whatever items I got for my successful career, to be here, to be part of this, would have really been very special. I kind of like to think that God has given her the day off so she can come back to be here with us spiritually at least and stuff. So, and my father, it's remarkable about my father. My father died prematurely in his early 50s. And I didn't know my father, and no memories of him in Waterford when we were here growing up, which is really sad for me because I meet people who say, we hear a lot about your mother, but we hear very little about your father. I would love to have been close to my dad, but for some reason, it just wasn't going to happen. But there's no doubt that when I look back and think about him, that what he would have made of my success, and I'm certain at some point with all that success, he would have come up to you and said, "Can I have a horse?" There's no doubt he would have loved that. Finally, before I finished, last year I read a book by Paul Brady, a very famous Irish singer and songwriter, hugely recognized around the world. Paul is a really good songwriter, no question about that. But he released his autobiography. And at the back of the autobiography were all the tributes and all the achievements he'd made with his career and awards he'd received. Very impressive, I have to say. And but I haven't written a book, no autobiography, no biography, no memoir. I'm too busy writing songs for that. But if I did, you can guarantee that on the list of achievements at the back of my book, taking pride of place, no question would be freedom of the Waterford city and county. Boy, I'm glad that's over.
This is where the fun begins, really. But I think I've been at a few of these freedom ceremonies, and I don't think I've heard a more personable and relatable response from any recipient in my time here anyway. So well done, and thank you for that. So now, before I close the meeting, I just want to advise that the photographs will take place on the stairs and in the Mayor's Parlour. Noel Brown is the photographer for the night, but I have a little pleasant duty to perform just before we disperse, and that is, by arrangement, we decided today, rather than go around the whole panoply of councillors, all 32 of us, to make their contributions and congratulations to Gilbert, we've asked the groupings to nominate one spokesperson to convey the grouping's congratulations and good wishes. So I'm going to call on the representative from Fianna Fáil, please. Councillor Stephanie.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the Fianna Fáil group, I would like to express our gratitude to Cork Road and Waterford man Gilbert O'Sullivan for all he has achieved in the world of music. Although I was very young when his musical career took off, for some strange reason I know all the lyrics to all of the songs. Reflecting on it, I think it comes from my own youth in Mount St. Avenue and being the second youngest of a family of 6. My parents and older siblings played Gilbert's music constantly. My mother would play it on a Saturday morning when she was encouraging us to help with the housework. Her logic, I believe, was, if I keep them happy and singing, they will keep cleaning. I also remember being so jealous of the girl called Claire that had a song written for her and wishing my name was Claire. Indeed, I think at one stage I pretended my name was Claire. I think your music evokes much happiness and memories for those of us who were raised listening to it. You have done Waterford very proud, Gilbert. Congratulations on this honour, which is so richly deserved, and thank you.
And now I call on the spokesperson for the Fine Gael party.
Thank you, Mayor. And on my own behalf and on behalf of my colleagues in Fine Gael, I'd also like to express my congratulations to you. It is indeed an honour to be present here today to see you, Gilbert O'Sullivan, receive the freedom of Waterford City and County. I myself was born in 1969. That was around that time when you were hitting the road and achieving great things. 3 Ivor Novello Awards, Top UK Male Singer 1972, Songwriter of the Year 1973. Massive hits, UK, US hits. I mean, it's what people dream about, and you were able to achieve all of that. I mean, as a child growing up, when you'd come on television, I'd say everybody in Waterford said the same thing. There's Gilbert, he's a Waterford man. And we are all enormously proud. Your family are here today. We're in a room. Everybody is smiling, as it should be. It's a red letter day for you, but it truly is a red letter day for Waterford also. And just to finish off, you sang at Glastonbury recently with a singer called CMAT, who's making great waves, singer-songwriter. She has very, very strong Waterford connections. Her grandmother asked me to pass on her regards to you today, and she said... She said that she was enormously proud to think that her granddaughter has shared a stage in Glastonbury with Waterford person and now Freeman of Waterford, Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Thank you so much, Councillor Damien Geoghegan. And now I'm going to call on Councillor Seamus Ryan from the Labour Party.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'll have to cross out my reference to CMAT now. See, he stole it on me. Mayor, on behalf of my Labour Party colleagues, Councillor Thomas Phelan, Councillor John Pratt and Councillor Gerard Barron, I want to congratulate Gilbert and all his family on receiving this accolade this evening. From the Cork Road to Glastonbury, Gilbert has thrilled many audiences across the world, charted 16 top 40 records, including 6 #1 songs in the UK. His music and his songwriting is up there with the best of them and is better than most of them. And he has performed with the best of singers and songwriters, collaborated with him right across the world. The freedom of the city and county is the highest honour that this council can bestow upon any person, and Mayor Gilbert O'Sullivan highly deserves this award this evening. His father, as was spoken about earlier, worked in Clover Meads. His mother ran a shop, a sweet shop in Waterford. The couple met in Ferrybank, and I don't think he can get any more Waterford than that. Continuing to perform and to produce quality music, Gilbert is someone we can always be proud of, And I know the people of Waterford are very proud of you, Gilbert, and I want to wish you and your family well this evening. Thank you.
Margaret Seamus, thank you very much. And now I'm going to call on my old colleague from the County Council days and Sinn Féin councillor, Pat Fitzgerald.
And on behalf of the Sinn Féin councillors in the Chamber, I would like to welcome you, Gilbert, to City Hall, and we're delighted and honoured to play a small part in making you a free man of the city today. And congratulations on that. And what seems like just a few years ago, I remember listening to you on Top of the Pops, and as your musical creations made #1 time and time again. And people like me and teenagers of the 70s, I remember listening to Top of the Pops, or like the teenagers of the 70s were so lucky to be exposed to that huge amount of natural talent that made the charts at the time. And almost every night now I go in next door to visit my grandchildren, and they're 2 and 3 years of age, and I bring in my phone and I play them music every night, and I play them music like I have to listen to it as well, so we have to compromise. And I play music like Eddie Grant and Blondie, and of course Gilbert O'Sullivan. And I have to tell you, you're a great hit with them as well, like, you know. And so your music spans 3 generations, and hopefully it will live for a long, long time after we're all gone. But look, the people of Waterford are so lucky to have a person like you that was there at the time when really it was the golden age of music, I suppose, or golden age of pop music. And we were represented well by people like you and others, but especially yourself, as you've been from Waterford. We'd have to give you that special place. And a pop legend, like I say, and like really with that, I'm delighted, as I'm sure we all are, to be here with you this evening. And I would like to wish you every success and health in the future. Thank you very much.
Margaret Pat, and now from the independent grouping, Councillor Donald Barry.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of Councillor Declan Clune and Councillor David Daniels, the Independents, I would like to extend our welcome and congratulations to Gilbert, his family and friends who are present here this evening to accept this wonderful accolade of Freedom of Waterford City and County. Welcome home to our city, to our world-renowned city and county of music, which has produced some wonderful composers, singers and musicians. Gilbert, you are ranked very high among those. Your catalogue of fantastic songs are as enjoyable today as they were back many years ago. Your songs have stood the test of time, and they will be enjoyed by future generations. Our city and county, and indeed this council, is still encouraging and supporting young people to get involved in all aspects of music and to follow in your footsteps. While you left Waterford City and the Cork Road at a young age, you will always be a son of Waterford in the citizens of Waterford eyes, who are immensely proud of your achievements. The amount of people who have even acquired, even today, could they get tickets to come here, to be here tonight, is a testament to the high affection and esteem that you are held in by the people of Waterford. This honour of Freedom of Waterford City and County is long overdue. On behalf of Declan, Councillor Clune and Councillor Daniels and the Independents, I wish you continued success with your music and have a wonderful evening with your family and friends.
Now, we're getting close to the end, so before we do, we have another couple of contributors, and I want to especially welcome my colleague, the Metropolitan Mayor of Waterford and Green Party representative, Councillor Jody Power.
On behalf of the Waterford Green Party and Councillor Christina Kiley here, a very big welcome to you. This is probably the proudest day of my life in my tenure as a councillor here, the biggest contribution. So to have you here, to welcome you here, is just such an honour. And I owe you such a personal debt of gratitude as well, because when I was 17, I left the Cork Road. And I ended up in Portsmouth in the British Merchant Marine as a young cadet officer. And I was the only Irish person there. And at 17 and alone again, there you were basking in the glory, okay, of Top of the Pops on the TV. And I was able to say, if that guy from Waterford made it, I can make it. And that was a really big inspiration for me at the time. So thank you very much for that. I do owe you for that. Now I'm going to put a little bit something else to you as well. In the metro meetings that we have here in the city, we did pass a motion unanimously, I would say as well, that we erect a statue to you, Val Dunigan and Brendan Boyer. Now, I wish you to give a kick to the CEO beside you there to remind him that that did pass unanimously, and we want it soon. And hopefully we'll get you back into the city again to actually commission that when actually it does happen. So hopefully we'll see you there again. And certainly it's a great honour for me to be here with you. Okay, and welcome home, welcome to Waterford. We truly love you.
Thank you very much, Jody. And now from the Social Democrats, Councillor Mary Roach.
Thanks, Mayor. I think I could adopt your Alone Again Naturally as my anthem, Gilbert, as there's only one of me. So on behalf of myself, if I may, congratulate you on the singular honour this evening. It is not awarded lightly, or often indeed, and I was lucky enough to be Mayor when Val Dunigan and Brendan Boyer were awarded with the Freedom of the City. I think, you mentioned yourself that it's all about the songwriting, and it is indeed, and the complexity and the lyricism of your songs is actually something to behold. My youngest is 16 and I have a 21-year-old as well, and you feature on the playlists, believe it or not, of that generation. They know you. They were asking me where I was coming tonight. I think post-pandemic most of us don't go out that much anymore, but when I said I was coming to the Freedom for Gilbert O'Sullivan, they knew exactly who you are, and I'm singing Gilbert O'Sullivan songs all day with them. And that is the greatest tribute I think you can give to a songwriter, that their songs will stand the test of time. And also, mentioning the pandemic, you were very active actually in the pandemic online, and I watched you regularly playing your piano in the shed and talking about the stories of your life, and the neighbour throwing the boot at you, I think, when you were too vigorous into the night playing your music. But I moved about a year ago to the Cork Road, to O'Reilly Road actually, and the Residents Association have given me a card for you, which I will pass on to you later. Just to say I'm delighted for yourself and your aunt, and for all your Waterford relatives and all the people who have travelled, I'm sure, from all around the world to honour you today. And I'm very proud to say that you are a Waterford man and that we can get some reflected glory from your achievements. Congratulations.
So that brings more or less to an end the formal part of the evening. Of course, there's a considerable part of the evening of jollity and chat and repartee and fun in the next door in the large Dr. Mary Strangman room. Yes, I nearly forgot that. Yes. And before that, there's some photographs. But before you sort of scatter into the photographs and the conviviality of the Dr. Mary Strangman large room, I just want to say again a particular welcome to all of Gilbert's family, and in particular his wife Åsa, who has a Viking ancestry all the way from Norway, and we consider her one of ours as well. And the rest of and there's some lovely little blonde heads down there that I'm sure are going to cause mayhem as the evening progresses. But I'm delighted that you're all here, and I hope you have a lovely evening with us. And so we'll call the meeting closed now, and we'll have photographs and then dinner.